How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be explaining kind of where I've been and why the name change is going on. So last year, if you guys didn't know, I basically stopped making content maybe 6 to 9 months ago, and it was pretty bad at that time. At that time, I was bed rotting. I was severely overweight, even though it doesn't show that well in videos. The fact that I'm like 6'4", 6'5" really helped with that, but I was pushing 250 to 260 pounds with almost no muscle on my body at all. And when I say bed rotting, I mean it was really bad. I would basically get up, I'd record a YouTube video, and then maybe after that video, I would go back to bed and I would sit there and I'd scroll on TikTok for probably about 8 to 9 hours every day or more. And then I would order DoorDash and then I would eat the DoorDash and continue to do that, and then I would go to bed and repeat the same thing the next day. So it was getting really, really bad. And one day I just kind of looked in the mirror and I'm like, this isn't who I want to be anymore, right? I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to just give up on my dreams, because this is my dream. My dream is making entertaining content that's funny or can maybe brighten someone's day or help someone out in any way, shape, or form. And that's always been my dream my entire life. So I want to make sure I can do that, but I couldn't do that in the space that I was in. Really, I just couldn't go back and forth between making content and also trying to improve myself, as I didn't see it logically possible to put out a good piece of content in my brain and also kind of hate who I was, you know? And a part of that was being Shocks. So for my entire life, I've been called Shock since like the time I was 12 or 13. And honestly, I've connected that name with myself a lot, but I've also connected that name to who I used to be and not who I want to be. And a big part of that was figuring out who I was over the past, year basically, and completely changing how I did things. I no longer bed rot. I might watch a little bit of TikTok here and there, but I try to stay off of it as much as possible. I genuinely have tried to change so much in this past year. I started going to the gym, did a lot of cardio. I mean, you can tell if you've watched my past videos, I'm deep loaded a lot. I still have a long way to go with the deep loading and everything. I think that there's a little bit more I could definitely do. But going from 5260 to where I am now, which is like 200 pounds, took a long time. And genuinely, I'm very proud of what I was able to achieve. And in that time, I noticed that even when I was gone, you guys were still watching my content. You guys were still subscribing to me. You guys were still supporting me. I've even had a few people message me and see like if I'm okay. And genuinely, like, for not being a large creator or anything like that, I really, really, really appreciate every single one of you that has followed, watched my videos, subscribed, whatever it is. I very much appreciate you guys. Yes, we are changing our name from Shocks the Goat to Ember Soul. Ember is, I just think it sounds cool. Like, honestly, I think Ember sounds cool. Ember is like a tiny flame in the darkness, kinda. And I just think that is sick. And I think it kind of matches what I want to do going forward in life. I hope everybody is kind of cool with the name change. I'm sure it might weird out some people. And I'm sure most of you probably really don't care. But I just want to make this video and kind of give you guys a little bit of a recap of what's been going on in life. So yeah, I went to the gym. I got way leaner. I still got a little bit of ways to go. Been familiar with my setup in the past. You can tell I moved again, which was also another big pain that I went through. Yes, the hair is long once again, as you guys can tell. We're gonna keep the hair long until I kind of reach my full weight loss goal, is my current goal, I will say, because I feel like once I hit that, I'll shave the hair and I'll make it look nice, whatever. But until then, I want to keep the craziness, as it's kind of a slight motivation, to be like, okay, I'm a little chopped with the crazy hair. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see everybody in the future. And once again, thank you to everybody that still showed support, even though I wasn't here.